Well, good morning. I thought when I wrote the blurb that I was going to start it at 11:11, but as I've been sitting here the last little bit, I think why should I wait till 11:11? I don't want to wait almost an hour from the time I wrote it to do it. I may as well just do it so it's 10:44, and I know that's not a normal time, but it's the time that I'm using today, and it adds up to a 9, so 9 is completion, and maybe this will be something to do with completion. Who knows? The title that I wrote down is Transitioning Through the Whirlwind. In case you haven't noticed it going on around you, and likely within you as well, change is blowing in from all directions. I too am caught up in those swirling winds of change as they impact many in my world. It cannot help but have an effect on each of us as the very foundations of what has been our reality is being shaken. Today I am faced with situations that I cannot even talk about publicly to protect those involved from unwanted publicity. I feel a necessity to do what seems against my very nature as someone who has long chosen to be open and honest. Some things I simply have to keep under my belt until the time is right to reveal them. Yes, I am, as the title states, transitioning through the whirlwind. I have the feeling that once the winds subside, my life and the lives of many on this planet will never be the same again. Indeed. The phone has been absolutely ringing off the hook for me today. And in the past 24 hours, I've talked with someone, well, actually, it was a friend that related to me, that a friend of mine had their home taken yesterday. And another friend of mine faces eviction as well. Another friend of mine has serious health problems and is trying to get a trust created. And asked if I could help, and I had to direct that individual to someone else that could help. And there have been others that have dialogued with me on the internet that I don't know. I mean, there's so many issues that are on my plate right now that I feel overwhelmed. And I don't like feeling overwhelmed. I like feeling like I have a semblance of control. But right now, in this day, I don't feel like I have control. I feel like a lot of people are asking for my help or wanting some help. And somebody asked me for prayer yesterday, and I did join a prayer meditation. And that individual that we were praying for, who's facing serious cancers throughout her body, she came to mind many, many times. But what I'm trying to say is this: I only know a small percentage, a small fraction, very small fraction of the number of people that have serious problems facing them. I only know a very small percentage. And yet, I realize that these issues, health issues, issues dealing with the fraudulent monetary system and the fraudulent governmental systems, the courts. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I have another friend who is in court today before the judge. So many things. And I feel like I want to help so much in each of the situations. Some of them that are closest to me, obviously, I want to help more, obviously. But I'm only human. I can only do so much, and there's some things I feel, except for praying for the people in the situation, I really don't know what to do. Some are beyond my ability to provide what is needed. And so I reach out to the Creator, to Great Spirit, to God, and ask for strength. And I try my best to leave the issues down and let God handle it. It's easier said than done sometimes. I get it. And I don't try to put on a show for anybody. I don't try to tell you something that is not true. And yet I can't tell you all the truth because it affects other people. So I'm caught between a rock and a hard place in that respect. There are things happening, and there's things happening that are going to change a lot of what we experience in this world. There's going to be shifts in the economic structure of our world, shifts in the governmental structure of our world, and the way business is done on the planet. It's not going to happen with the snap of a finger and overnight. And I did watch the video Solar Revolution again yesterday, although I was going to listen to it again today. And I went to watch it, and it's been removed because of a copyright infringement. Somebody had provided me yesterday with the link to a YouTube video of it, but I guess it was pirated, and it was challenged, and it was removed for that reason. Anyway, I didn't get to watch it another time, but it talks about a time maybe in the very near future. In fact, it says it's going to happen in 2013, although I think it said it was going to happen by the middle of 2013, and that's already come and gone. But there's going to be a solar event, which is a cosmic event as well, that's going to trigger a shift in human consciousness where we're going to, in a very short time, recognize who we are, remember who we are. We're going to remember our soul connection. And when we do that, it's going to change everything. And part of the whirlwind, a great deal of the whirlwind that's happening on the earth now, is the people that have been benefiting by stealing from everyone else in the system. You know, the people that are running the racketeering enterprise known as government and courts and banks, you know, the ones that are defrauding the people and laying waste to our resources, considering us human resources, considering us their property. You know, they are recognizing that the gig is up, that the change in the works, they can't stop it. They can't stop it. And I would love this solar revolution idea of a cosmic event that will trigger the masses of people to wake up. Now, someone shared with me earlier today, well, that means we're going to lose our bodies. You know, we're not going to be able to survive. We're going to die in this reality. Well, I want this reality to die. I want the fraud to be totally eliminated. I want the all of the whole slavery system to be brought to an end as quickly as possible. I mean, that's realistic, and I do care. You know, my friend says you've got to be neutral. A couple of my friends actually said you've got to be neutral. No, I'm not neutral, and I don't want to be neutral. I want the world to change for the good. Now, I'm neutral as to how God brings it about, in the respect that it's in God's hands, and God works through us, through me, and through you, and through those of us that are willing to actually take action. It doesn't just happen by God clicking his fingers, although cosmic events might trigger awakenings that are on a broader scale than we're able to do in a, quote, normal process. It might be an accelerated process, and I do think it's accelerated. Whether it happens in an instant or whether it happens over a period of weeks and months, it's still a rapid transition from the old paradigm to the new. I do believe that we're in that, and I'd like to do everything I can to lend my energy and power to it. Now, I did have a friend today that, after watching the video that I put up for today, which was created yesterday, of course, she said, after listening to you today, I realized that we're going in different directions and I'm going to unsubscribe. I wish you well. Well, she was very courteous in the way that she did it. And okay, you know, maybe there's a lot of people that want God to do it, and I've been told that I'm interfering. I'm trying to do God's work for God, and I'm not letting God do it. Well, as I said, God works through people. And there's too many people on this planet, too many of my friends, that think it's not going to happen in my lifetime. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm powerless to change anything. And so they allow the status quo to keep on going. And they're not helping. They're not helping. And there's other people that say that if I look at the problem, I'm being negative. Well, I'm sorry. The problem is an opportunity. When we recognize the problem, it's an opportunity to do something about it. It's not something that makes us negative. It's something that makes us realistic. That we're looking at things and we're saying, whoo, here's an opportunity. Now that I know what's going on, here's an opportunity to make an impact. Here's an opportunity to make things better for people and for myself and for the world. Here's an opportunity to fix something that's not going in a direction that benefits a lot of people. Yes, there are people that are benefiting from the old paradigm system, the slavery system, all the judges and, well, most of the judges, most of the lawyers, most of the bankers, most of the politicians, they're benefiting from this structure, and they don't want it to end. They don't want it to stop because they want to keep milking the sacred cow that they've discovered by fraud and deceit and corruption and operating this con game that they've been operating on us. And then there's people that say, well, the way to win is to let the game continue and just learn how to speak their language and learn how to behave and dot your I's and cross your T's in the proper way and use proper syntax, grammar, and all these other BS. It's all BS. I'm absolutely convinced that almost all of the remedies that we've explored so far don't work simply for one main reason. They don't mean a thing to the people in power who operate a fraud system, and until, as long as they can get away with it, and they'll get away with it until enough people wake up and say stop it, but as long as they can get away with it, they're going to keep operating this system. They're going to keep doing it until there's that click change in human consciousness of a solar projection or a solar emission that triggers something in human consciousness and allows us to activate the God particle within each of us. You know, I'm rambling. I realize I'm rambling on and on and on. But I want you to know that if you're experiencing this, you're not alone. Whatever it is, whatever challenge you're facing, it's really an opportunity. And it's an opportunity to go within yourself. It's an opportunity to cry out to God as you know God and say, please help me heal. Please help me become whole, which is what heal means, by the way. It means becoming whole. And we've been living our whole lives as fragmented beings, not becoming whole, rejecting the parts of ourselves that are, quote, socially unacceptable or outside the conventional wisdom or the accepted norm of our culture. Well, the accepted norm of our culture is for fragmentation. It is for us to be ignorant. That's the accepted norm, for us to not delve into things that we don't want to know anything about, or that we're not supposed to, because that's not our realm of expertise. We're only supposed to have limited access to certain parts of the equation. We're not allowed to see the big picture. Well, many of us are starting to see the bigger picture. I'm not saying I or anybody else sees the whole picture. Otherwise, we'd probably have it fixed by now, wouldn't we? But we see part of it, and all I can do is see the part that feels right for me to do. And that's what I'm doing. I'm doing these videos, and I'm telling the truth and being as authentic as I know how to be. And yes, keeping secrets where I have to, because I want to protect people from getting hurt until the threat against them is removed. I get it. I get it. And folks, I want to encourage you from the bottom of my heart, not to lose faith, to keep trusting that God indeed, our Creator indeed, has a plan for us, and it's being worked out in us and through us. And even as the whirlwind swirls around and around and around, as the hurricanes and cyclones and torpedoes, that's not the word that I meant. What is the other word? I can't even remember the other word. Tornadoes. That's the word. That isn't even it. Cyclones, tornadoes. There's another word. In the Indian Ocean, they're called one thing. The Pacific Ocean, they're called something else. And in the Atlantic Ocean, they're called something else. They're hurricanes and cyclones, but there's something else, I think, in the Indian Ocean. Typhoons. I think that's the one. Anyway, they're blowing. The winds of change are blowing, and they're upon us. And yes, it looks like it's chaotic. It looks like it's a mess. But I really believe that we're going to find, contrary to what some people think, we're going to find major sweeping changes happening in the very near future that we're going to be able to see, and we're going to be able to see the old coming to an end and the new being given birth to and being implemented, and it's a beautiful thing. I thank you once again for listening, and for each of you that are struggling. I send you my love and my prayers, and I hope that the situations that you're in, that you will grow and that you will be able to find solace and comfort and restoration through the whole process. Thank you. Namaste.